Um, Moving on to another topic when it comes to admissions for maths, um, Cambridge has this famous, well-known admissions test called STEP. Can you tell us more about STEP and when do students take the STEP exams?
Sure. So it's kind that you call it famous. Probably infamous
Yeah.
is probably more to the point. Okay, so most of the people who apply will have similar levels of qualifications.
Mm, mm,
And we can't, unfortunately, make offers to everyone who applies. So there needs to be some way of sort of testing people that extra mile,
mm,
just stretching them a little bit more so we can make some sort of informed judgment. And STEP is the way in which we do that. So if you apply, you'd be called to, we try to interview most people who apply in maths. And if as a result of that interview, you're made an offer, that offer will be conditioned on achieving a certain grade in STEP. So what is STEP? STEP is a pair of exams, confusingly called Step 2 and Step 3.
mm.
Step 1 was sort of phased out about 3 or 4 years ago, I think, that no longer exists. And they are 2 3-hour exams that you take, I think, around the middle of June. I'm not sure what the dates are this
Yeah.
year, but they'll be on the website. And you need to register, I think probably by March to take STEP the following year. And they're 3-hour written exams. They don't involve any calculators. It's all kind of pen and paper calculations, as almost all of the degree maths would be. And they tend to be pitched at a level of sort of AS level maths, further maths as well. And they're designed to sort of stretch you a little bit. And we consider them not only a good way of making the admissions process as fair as possible, but also a way of preparing students for the type of mathematics that you'd study in Cambridge. So in terms of what you should do to prepare for STEP, it's like most maths exams, practice. Do lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of practice papers. If you Google STEP maths papers, or if you go to the Cambridge Maths faculty website, there's a tab you can click on for prospective undergraduates, and there's a link to not only past STEP papers, but also lots of STEP support, worked videos and things like that that's available there. But I cannot encourage people enough that if you're seriously thinking of applying, take STEP very seriously. Perhaps if I can throw some numbers into it, we probably have about 50 or 60 people who apply each year for maths. We'll aim to take on about 6 students, give or take.
Is that 50, 60 to Trinity Hall?
Yes, to Trinity Hall. Yeah, not to Cambridge. It'd be fine. We could take everyone if it was just, but no, just to Trinity Hall. And we can take about six students. We'd love to take everyone, but we just can't do it. Of that number, probably 10 to 15 we'd make offers to. And of those who we make offers to, 4 or 5 will get through STEP. So you can see that the odds of having an interview and then getting an offer are not that dissimilar from getting an offer and getting through STEP. So I think it's really, really important to take STEP seriously and to sort of engage with it as soon as possible.
So does that also mean if you find yourself in a position where you're very confident, you've done loads of STEP papers and you feel very confident in doing STEP papers, and maybe you have someone who's looking at your work and verifying that you're on the right track, then you're in a very strong position when it comes to Cambridge admissions for maths? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. So I think that's right. I mean, doing lots of practices in STEP and it's nice to get to a stage if you can where you're confident. They're tricky. I'm not sure how many people
can
feel confident. And if there is someone or if your school can provide some assistance, that's fantastic. But there is a lot of support out there on the web as well.
Okay.
So even if your school isn't in a position to provide any assistance, there is assistance that's there. And independently making use of those sort of resources is quite good preparation for doing a university degree anyway and becoming a bit more self-sufficient. There is a converse to what you said. I wouldn't want people to sort of listen to this, pick up a step paper straight away, look at it and go, oh my goodness, I can't do that. I'm not going to apply. It's a process, right? You're a long way from sort of doing A levels and therefore
That's
step
true.
now. So think of it as a long game and just start that process sort of early. But don't be put off, because I don't think there's anyone who just opens a step paper and go, yeah, this is easy, this is trivial.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and that's I think a consistent phenomena when it comes to problem solving degrees and subjects. Do you have any advice for someone who would open a step paper, read the question, and just think, I have no idea where to start? Um, in what kind of things can that student then do in order to try to solve that problem in front of them?
So there are a number of things they can do. I think the first thing is to just sort of think, have a kind of just do a quick audit check, like a skills check of what you know how to solve at the moment. What is your course, whatever course you're doing, covered at the moment? Because it may be you just haven't covered this stuff yet. And okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But also sometimes the techniques that you need, the bit of maths knowledge you want to apply to a particular problem, isn't obvious at first sight. So maybe think laterally a bit, kind of just go through what sort of things you know, what might help with this. If you get really stumped, as I said, there's quite a lot of support on the web. There tends to be quite a lot, I think, of examiners' reports. So they give kind of a commentary on how students did with questions. That can give you some guidance. I think there may be 1 or 2 years as well where full solutions are given. I know there are some videos available where people have worked through step problems. So I think the first thing, if you open a page, look at a step question and just think, I've got no idea how to do this, join the club. I think that's going to be the first impressions of almost everyone. But if you find you're really, really stuck and there's no one you can ask, then have a look at the resources available. Have a think about which area of mathematics does this question fit into? What do I know about that area of mathematics? What tools, what are the sort of things I can do in that area of mathematics? And you might suddenly feel, okay, this is just a cleverly disguised version of a problem I've seen before. Or it may be that's just not something you've touched yet. So you can always show it to a school teacher and they may say, oh yeah, we'll be covering that sort of thing next term. Don't worry about it.
And do you think when it comes to because I imagine this is also something a situation that students might face when they're doing problem sheets, is like being persistent, like a skill that students would need, is like helpful to learn when it comes to like doing maths?
Yeah, it's maths at any level. I think even sort of research level, being persistent is really important, not giving up. I think also talking to other people. So it's quite common, because it's a competitive process, to get a place in universities like Cambridge. People often think that it is always a competitive process, and actually, once you get here, it's not. The intention is it's a collaborative process, and you do talk to your peers and any other support that's available. But yeah, not giving up is important. Being persistent is important. And maybe it's okay to be stuck on something, take a break from it and come back to it. Just make sure you do come back. You don't have to do everything there and then.
Yeah, because I guess the more you do that, the more you realize and experience that it's actually fairly likely that the third or fourth go, you make a lot of progress with the problems that you're doing.
That's right. And the way research normally works, which is quite indicative and no one tells you before you start it, is that you normally try out most dead ends before you find the way through. But you come out of that process with a real understanding of not just what works, but why that works. And that's an important part of the learning process. So trying things and them not working is really, really important. It gives you a depth of learning that's not often appreciated.
I guess because I think a lot of people, when they open a step paper and they look at a question and they think, I don't know how to do this. I think I think what that person doesn't realize is that there is a version of themselves in the future that will look at that question and be able to do it. It's just, and there's a journey in between.
Yeah, knowledge is a time-dependent process, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then I think students who want to study maths shouldn't get discouraged quickly, because I think everyone has that same feeling when they're looking at STEP.
Yeah, and that's one of the qualities we're really keen to see in our applicants, sort of a sense of persistence,
Mm.
um, and not giving up. I mean, my field, quantum gravity, we've been banging our head against the wall for over 100 years now, but we're still going. We're making progress slowly.